She was a happy girl all the time. And she would have wanted you guys to protect each other, love each other.
A day after his 15-year-old daughter died in a shooting, Tyson Gay addressed the community during a vigil held in the teenager's honor. New details have been released tonight about the investigation into a couple of deadly accidents at a Frankfurt plant. Lexington police are investigating robberies at 5 businesses in the last few days, and they say in each case the robber wore a clown mask.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. It felt more like summer instead of fall today with sunshine and warm temperatures, but it looks like some changes are on the way later this week. We begin tonight with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Hi, Amber. Late evening thermometers are above where we should be for a normal high for this time of year in some areas. Upper 60s to low 70s right now across much of central and eastern Kentucky. So to call it balmy, I think we could call it that late this evening. End of the day tomorrow, 60s to start and 80s to end with a partly cloudy sky. Middle 80s, a good possibility. Warm winds continue to come at us out of the south and southwest. That's ahead of a cold front that will offer up some changes, though. Those changes won't arrive until late this week in the form of a couple of cold fronts that will unleash the coldest air we've had so far this young fall season. Short term, though, got to watch tomorrow afternoon for the possibility of a little cloud cover creeping on into the picture and maybe an isolated shower. Future radar goes out 12 hours. And you notice how it does thicken up the overcast into the middle of the morning tomorrow. That's around 11 o'clock or so. Now, I could see a shower or two trying to squeeze out late into the afternoon. But when I come back at 11:13, we will focus on a major pattern change that will take the temperatures from way up here to way down here. Amber, we're talking about an almost 50-degree temperature drop coming up on a new hour-by-hour forecast. Wait until you see it.
Chris, we'll see you in just a bit. Thank you. He asked for prayers and an end to the senseless violence. Tonight, Olympic sprinter and Kentucky native Tyson Gay spoke at a vigil for his daughter, Trinity. The 15-year-old Lafayette High School student and rising track star died yesterday after being shot in Lexington. Tonight, hundreds of people attended the vigil honoring her at the Lafayette track. WKYT's Monique Blair has our top story at 11.
She didn't deserve it. She was only 15.
Only 15 years old and her life taken in an instant.
So you really don't know how to handle it when it happens to somebody you know. Like, it just shocks you.
Monday night, hundreds gathered at one of the many places Trinity Gay made her mark, on the track. Nearly all of them wearing either pink or purple, her favorite color. And though she was known for being a really good runner, she was also known for her compassion for everyone.
Whenever you were around her, you felt happy, and she always had a smile on her face, made sure everybody was okay, and whenever you're sad, she just made you feel happy.
Trinity Gay's friends and also her teammates have created this memorial that sits right outside Lafayette High School's track. There are dozens of pairs of track shoes hanging from this fence, many of them reading very personal messages to Trinity, like this one that reads, "Heaven's Track Star." Trinity Gay not only shared her passion for the sport of running, but also her ability with her Olympian sprinter father, Tyson Gay.
I'm so numb right now from all the crying and still not even understanding this senseless act. It's almost even hard to react right now.
Tyson Gay addressed the crowd asking for a favor. He asked the public to do what they can to end gun violence before another innocent life is taken, like his daughter's was.
It doesn't stop here, it doesn't stop after the balloons. I appreciate all the support, but I need you guys to keep it going. I don't want to read in the paper next week another senseless killing. It has to stop.
Trinity's closest friends and her family tell me they are holding on to being as positive as they can because they say that is what Trinity would want.
I know a lot of people, they're worried about us, but I mean, they shouldn't be. Knowing that Trinity's watching down on us, we still have her here in some way.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
The three men charged in connection to the shooting all appeared in court today. 19-year-old DeMarquio Taylor, his father, 39-year-old Chazray Taylor, and 21-year-old Devonta Middlebrooks pled not guilty to wanton endangerment. Court records show the elder Taylor is currently on a pretrial diversion for a drug trafficking indictment, and Middlebrooks is a convicted felon. Lexington police say at this point, these are the only people they plan to charge in connection to Trinity Gay's death. Police say all three admitted firing shots outside the Cookout restaurant on South Broadway early yesterday morning. They say Trinity was caught in the crossfire. New tonight, investigators tell us a Franklin County plant will voluntarily shut down for now after two deadly accidents there in the last week. The most recent happened just this afternoon at Monoplast, an auto parts supplier in Frankfort. WKYT Sean Moody has the update.
You have to imagine it's a pretty tough time for the employees and families here at Monoplast to lose two co-workers to workplace incidents in less than a week. Now the Franklin County coroner says Monoplast management have called for a voluntary shutdown. The first incident happened on Thursday at the plant here in Frankfort. In a news release, a company spokesman said two employees were hurt while working with an overhead crane. 35-year-old Angela Mitchell had a head injury and was airlifted to UK Hospital, where she died Sunday. The spokesman said the other employee had a minor shoulder injury. Around 1 o'clock Monday afternoon, that spokesman said a production engineer, 23-year-old Benjamin Cermak, died from an electric shock. He said another man had a minor injury from that incident. Franklin County Coroner Will Harrod said he's still investigating and said that any comment on the incident from him would be speculation. Harrod said his office is doing an investigation with help from the Franklin County Sheriff's Office as well as OSHA. In fact, Harrod said OSHA was here at the plant when Cermak died today. Now, I mentioned that the coroner said management here has called for a voluntary shutdown. We reached out to company officials this evening to find out how long that shutdown might be and what it would mean for the employees who work here. We haven't heard back yet, but we'll update you as soon as we do. In Frankfort, Sean Moody, WKYT.
We also reached out to OSHA, but so far the agency has not commented on the accidents. Tonight, Lexington police are trying to find the people they say have robbed businesses while wearing clown masks. Police say in the last 2 days, 4 gas stations and a check cashing business were robbed around the city. The most recent robbery was this afternoon at Mr. Money on Winchester Road. In that case, police say 2 men in masks and dark clothing robbed the business. Overnight, police say someone in a clown mask robbed the Shell at Manowar and Nichols Park Road. And yesterday, police say someone wearing a clown mask robbed 2 Speedways and a Thornton's. Police think the same person is behind the robberies yesterday, but they think the 2 robberies today were copycats. New tonight, police are looking into reports of shots being fired at the University of Cincinnati. The university sent out a tweet to students tonight asking them to shelter in place, but that order was lifted about an hour later. Police say no one was injured. They say they're looking for a male suspect in connection to the shots fired. Police have arrested a man they say robbed 2 businesses in Georgetown. They say just after 6 last night, Andrew Vaughn walked into the CVS pharmacy on West Showalter Drive, pulled a gun on a clerk, and stole money from the cash register. Police say he then got into a car outside the store and drove off, but police say witnesses gave them the license plate number of the car, which they tracked to Vaughn's home in Winchester. Police say they arrested him there. They charged him with the CVS robbery and a robbery at a Check and Go in Georgetown in August. The latest CBS News poll shows Hillary Clinton with a growing lead with just 3 weeks to go until the presidential election. This comes as the FBI releases more information on its investigation into the Clinton email scandal, and Donald Trump's wife talks about the accusations against him. Greg Boswell has the latest from both campaigns.
God bless the USA.
Donald Trump weighed in on Monday's release of FBI documents from its now closed investigation into Hillary Clinton's email during her time as Secretary of State.
This is worse than Watergate. What's going on?
The papers detail how Clinton's Undersecretary Patrick Kennedy began pushing security officials to see their way clear to marking an email pertaining to Benghazi unclassified. One FBI contact told Kennedy he would look into the email matter if Kennedy would provide authority concerning the FBI's long-standing request to increase its personnel in Iraq.
Any really assertion that this was somehow tit for tat or a quid pro quo exchange of in that manner really frankly, is insulting.
The FBI eventually denied the request. Trump also repeated his contention that the U.S. election is rigged.
The criticism is completely unjustified, and it's a guy who's whining because he's a big bully who's getting beaten.
A new CBS News poll shows Clinton now has a 9-point lead over Trump in a 4-way race. Clinton was off the campaign trail today, preparing for Wednesday's debate.
For the first time, Melania Trump addressed recent allegations by 10 women who claim her husband acted sexually aggressive toward them.
Why now? Why 3 weeks before the election?
She accused the media of slanting stories to influence the outcome of the election. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
The CBS News poll finds Clinton continues to hold a double-digit lead among women, leading Trump by 19 points. New tonight, NBC News has fired Today Show host Billy Bush. It comes 10 days after a 2005 tape was made public, which showed Bush and Donald Trump having a vulgar conversation about women. At that time, Bush was the host of Access Hollywood. Bush has said he was embarrassed and ashamed by what was said on that tape. He had only been with the Today Show for 2 months. He spent decades as a public servant. In 9 minutes, how a community is honoring an Eastern Kentucky EMS worker who died in a crash. And then police in Hazard say an undercover investigation eventually led them to a disturbing discovery in one home.
Your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Temperatures today hitting the 80s, kind of summer-like, huh? You get another day and a half or so of 80-degree-plus temperatures. Then the bottom falls out. And wait till you see this extended hour-by-hour forecast we've put together. Let's jump into it. Lots to talk about. Short time to do it in. We'll get after it. Upper 60s, low 70s right now into most of central and eastern Kentucky. Cool spot into far southeastern Kentucky, 61. Reason we are so warm, high pressure out in the Atlantic. Yeah, that's right, in the Atlantic. But look at how the flow is coming across Florida, into the Gulf, and right on into the Bluegrass State. Those temperatures in the 70s right now all the way to the Canadian border. It is 80 degrees into St. Louis, 82 into Dallas. Here's front number 1. Front number 2 has the charge of colder air. Those two will kind of get together over the next 3 days to take the eastern part of the country below normal. That does not include tomorrow. Middle 80s coming your way tomorrow afternoon. Mix of sun and clouds, very gusty winds. Can we see a shower or thunderstorm popping up? Yes, a small chance tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening. We'll show you that on the short-term hour-by-hour. Then I've got a longer term coming up here in just a second. Start you out tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Can you call 60s this time of year? Lows, mid-60s, likely out the door tomorrow morning. Pushing 80 already at lunchtime. Notice how we get in on a little cloud cover across the north. That is a weak front that gets in here tomorrow evening with a threat for an isolated shower or thunderstorm farther north that you live. And that front then gets into the I-64 corridor 8 o'clock Wednesday morning. Obviously, you can see where the front is based on the clouds, a little shower or thunderstorm, but look at the temperature. Covington, 59. Temperatures to the south of that into the upper 60s. That same front kind of waffles around a little bit and produces a scattered shower or thunderstorm into the afternoon on Wednesday. May go briefly back to the north, and then it comes back at us as we go into the day on Wednesday. Wednesday's your day of change. Showers, thunderstorms around 5 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. Look at the line of showers and thunderstorms. Can we get a strong storm out of this? If we get any sunshine out ahead of that eastern Kentucky, it's a possibility. But look at the temperature. Look at Pikeville, 80 degrees. At the same time, it is 59 into Frankfort, 57 into Covington. That's the colder air that is on the way, courtesy of this storm system, and it's going to make its way slowly across the Ohio Valley. A good drink of water coming up second half of Thursday night into Friday. Here's that longer range, hour by hour. We'll start you out on Wednesday. We'll go through the rest of the week and into the start of the weekend. Temperatures drop all day long on Thursday from west to east. We may see, again, 20 to 30 degree temperature difference from west to east across Kentucky on Thursday. Now let's get the colder air in here. Look at what you wake up to Friday morning. By noon, the temperatures dropped a little bit. We're upper 40s to low 50s. 5 o'clock Friday, 51 Lexington, 50 Richmond, Jackson, upper 40s, southeastern Kentucky. Chilly for high school football. 30s around to begin the day on Saturday. And then by the time Saturday afternoon rolls around, the 50s hang tough. Heading out to Commonwealth Stadium, go ahead, grab the cold weather gear. You're going to put it to good use. So if you're playing along, that's 84 tomorrow and 37 by Saturday morning. Almost 50 degrees in terms of the difference from tomorrow afternoon's warmest point to Saturday morning's coldest point.
Incredible what happens with our weather,
And
right?
sandwiched in between, likely to get some gusty showers and thunderstorms.
Well, we need the rain. I guess
Yeah.
just not all the rest that comes with it, right?
Exactly right. Some of us may get an inch on Thursday.
Wow, Chris, thank you.
All right.
Stay with us. There's more news to come right after the break. Tonight, a community is remembering an Eastern Kentucky EMS worker who died weeks after being injured in a crash. Investigators say Jerry Willis died over the weekend. Last month, they say he was riding in a car that collided with another car on the Mountain Parkway in Powell County. Another man also died after the crash. Willis's remains received an escort to the funeral home today. Friends say he spent more than 25 years in public service working in Wolfe, Breathitt, and Perry counties. Many EMS agencies in Eastern Kentucky are now paying tribute to Willis.
Gary's death has not been just a loss to the Aramed family, but to the community as a whole. I mean, he was a great paramedic, great friend. His death left a void that it can never be filled.
Willis's funeral will be Wednesday afternoon at 2 at Gospel Light Baptist Church in Hazard. New tonight, a crash involving an ambulance in Louisville killed one person this afternoon. Police say the ambulance was taking a patient to the hospital and had its lights and sirens on. But when the ambulance went through an intersection against a red light, police say it hit an SUV. They say the SUV then hit two other vehicles that were stopped in traffic. Police say the driver of the SUV died. They say 2 EMS workers and the driver of one of the other vehicles suffered minor injuries. Also new tonight, 2 men were injured when their truck flipped off a road in Laurel County. It happened just before 8 last night on Tomcat Trail near London. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office says 51-year-old Robert Doney lost control of the truck, causing it to flip down an embankment. Deputies say Doney was trapped in the truck and had to be rescued. They say both he and his passenger, 29-year-old Jonathan Doney, were airlifted to UK Hospital. Their conditions are not known tonight. What police in Hazard say started as an undercover investigation led to a drug bust. Police say they arrested 34-year-old William Harold at his home in Perry County Friday. Inside that home, police say they found 81 bags of cocaine, marijuana plants, pills, guns, and more than $2,000 in cash.
This was one of the bigger finds that we've had recently, but don't surprise us.
Harold now faces multiple charges, including drug possession and trafficking. Hazard police say they're turning more to undercover investigations to get drugs off the streets. We have a traffic alert tonight for those of you who plan to drive on Interstate 75 in Rockcastle County. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says for parts of the next 2 days, Interstate 75 will be down to 1 lane in both directions between mile markers 56 and 64. That's around the Renfro Valley exit. Crews will be drilling for pavement samples. Lane closures will take place between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. tomorrow and Wednesday. Just ahead, Mark Stoops gets his team back in action Saturday.
Well, that's right. Mississippi State will come in here struggling. Coach Dan Mullen talks about it, and suddenly it seems like there's a lot of opportunity in the SEC East for the Wildcats. How does Mark Stoops view that? Sports is up next on WKYT. Kentucky gets back at it against Mississippi State Saturday night at Commonwealth Stadium. The Cats coming off a bye week. And looking at what happened over the weekend, Vandy knocks off Georgia in Athens. And then Alabama simply ran over Tennessee in Knoxville. The Cats stand 2-2 in the SEC East. Only Florida has a better record. So you'd think opportunity is there.
I think our kids understand that if we handle our business, there's opportunity for us just to week to week. And you know, it's so hard to look at that big picture. You know, 6 weeks is so far from here that, you know, in the football world that, you know, we're worried about today. And I know that gets boring sometimes to talk about, but that's what we're focused on.
Now, Mississippi State coming off an overtime loss out at BYU Friday night, and the Bulldogs will come into town 2-4. To have any hope left of making a bowl game, it would sure seem that Dan Mullen's team would have to come in here and win Saturday night.
I'm excited to get back out there. I love that. You know, when you face a little bit of adversity, it kind of tests your character, and you know, but it can really pull a team closer together. So, you know, we haven't practiced since the game. We'll see how it pulls us together out on the practice field today. But stuff like that actually can help pull the team closer together.
All right, it'll be Saturday night at Commonwealth Stadium under the lights. Mississippi State, Kentucky, 7:30 kickoff on the SEC Network. The return of Isaiah Briscoe, certainly big for John Calipari's team this season. Briscoe tested the NBA waters, worked out for teams, but made the decision to come back. He likely will again be part of a three-guard offense with freshman De'Aaron Fox running the point. Briscoe says his shot has improved, and so is his ball handling.
Just, you know, I have more control over the ball and just keeping it tighter to my body.
Last year you played, you know, off the ball probably a little bit more. Would you play a little bit more point this year, do you think?
Yeah.
How much more?
I mean, I don't know, but I'll be on the ball more.
Karl Towns and the Timberwolves in Louisville over the weekend for an NBA preseason game. Karl was dominant in his only season at UK. When asked about the next Kentucky big man, Bam Adebayo, Karl joked that he calls him Dwight Howard.
You know what? He's going to be a heck of a player. You know, I think what we always keep saying in comparison to Dwight Howard because of the size and the shoulders, but he has a mid-range shot that Dwight doesn't have, and I think that that's going to really help him out. He's a tremendous athlete. Has a great body, and I see nothing but great things for him, especially at Kentucky.
Word this afternoon that the Indiana Pacers have cut former UK forward Alex Poythress. Poythress has signed a free agent contract back in August. He is expected to play for Indiana's D-League team in Fort Wayne. The Courier-Journal, quoting sources, reporting tonight that the NCAA is expected to give Louisville a notice of allegations of its violations in its men's basketball program this week. Sources say U of L is expected to make them public Thursday. No confirmation from the university. On to baseball. Cleveland and Toronto in Game 3 of the ALCS. Mike Napoli breaks up a 1-1 tie. Solo homer makes it 2-1 Cleveland in the fourth. And how about more power? Former Wildcat Jason Kipnis. This ball getting out in a hurry. Indians go up 3-2. Indians lead 4-2 in the bottom of the ninth inning. And the 21st ranked UK volleyball team swept Ole Miss Sunday to earn its 12th straight win. The Wildcats are now a perfect 8-0 in the SEC. And today, freshman Leah Edmond named the SEC Freshman of the Week. It is the 5th time in 6 weeks that Edmond has earned that honor. Congratulations to her. We'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT. Tonight's guests include President Barack Obama. All right, we are looking at some changes coming, but we got to enjoy tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's a winner of a day. A little more cloud cover, and it's mainly dry. I think we can squeeze out an isolated shower thunderstorm late in the day. 84 tomorrow, low and mid 50s by Friday.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.